All right, let's talk about something we all use but maybe don't fully get, incognito mode. We're going to break down what it is, where it came from, and most importantly, what it really does for your privacy. Let's dive in.
Yeah, you know this little guy. The hat, the glasses, it basically screams secret agent, right? But does clicking on it actually wrap you in some kind of digital invisibility cloak? Well, the answer might surprise you.
Okay, let's just rip the Band-Aid off right away. The biggest myth out there is that incognito mode makes you anonymous. The reality? It's much simpler. It just gives your computer a temporary case of amnesia. It's built to forget, not to hide.
So to really understand why this thing even exists, we gotta hop in the time machine, because this whole idea wasn't born out of some need to dodge super sophisticated online trackers. Nope, it came from a much more down-to-earth, everyday problem.
Think back, okay? The early 2000s. There's probably one single computer for the whole family, and it's sitting right there in the living room. You want to look up a surprise birthday gift or maybe some sensitive health info? The problem is, the next person who sits down can see every single website you just visited. Your browsing history was basically an open book.
Naturally, the tech world saw this problem and jumped on it. Apple was actually first to the party way back in 2005 with private browsing, but it was really Google in 2008 that made the idea famous with that incognito brand we all know. And pretty soon after that, as you can see, everybody else, Microsoft, Mozilla, they all followed suit, trying to solve that exact same problem of privacy on a shared machine.
All right, so let's get a little nerdy for a second. What's actually happening under the hood when you fire up one of these private windows? What does this temporary amnesia really mean for your computer?
The whole idea boils down to one key phrase: local privacy. And I mean really focus on that word local. The entire point is to stop your browsing data from being saved on the physical device you are holding. That's it. It keeps your activity private from other people who might use the same device.
So here's how it works, and it's actually pretty clever. Normally, when you browse, everything, your history, those little files called cookies, get saved, written right onto your hard drive for later. But in private mode, all that data is held in your computer's short-term memory, the RAM, and the second you close that window, poof, it's all gone, like it never happened.
So when we say it's all gone, what are we talking about? Well, your browsing history for one, also all the cookies and site data that websites use to remember you. Any info you typed into forms, like your name or address, that gets wiped too. Temporary files, search terms you typed in, all of it is designed to just vanish the moment that session ends.
You know, here's a great way to think about it. Incognito mode is like closing the curtains in your house. It stops your family or a roommate or anyone else in the house from peeking in and seeing what you're doing. It gives you privacy inside your own home.
And this is where we get to the big one, the huge misconception. Because you might have closed the curtains, but there's a whole world outside your window.
And that world can still see your house. Your house is still sitting there, plain as day, connected to the massive highway that is the internet. And just like a real house, it has an address that everyone can see.
And who exactly is watching? Well, for starters, your internet service provider. Yep, the company you pay every month, they see every site you go to. If you're using a work or school computer, you can bet they can see it too. And, of course, the websites you're visiting know you're there. Your IP address, your computer's unique address on the internet, is on full display.
But it gets even sneakier than that. Even if you block cookies, websites have this other trick up their sleeve called browser fingerprinting. Basically, they grab a whole bunch of tiny details about your setup, your screen resolution, the fonts you have installed, your graphics card, and they stitch it all together to create a digital fingerprint that is uniquely you.
And you might be thinking, how good can that really be? Well, the answer is frighteningly good. We're talking up to 99.7% accuracy in identifying you, even if you try to hide your location or clear your cookies. It turns out that your specific combination of settings makes you one of a kind.
And look, this isn't just some abstract tech concept. This very confusion, the gap between what people thought incognito did and what it actually did, was so big that it led to a massive $5 billion lawsuit against Google. The claim was that they were still tracking people even when they were in a private session.
So what happens next? Well, all of this has sparked a kind of privacy arms race. As the trackers get more and more sophisticated, the browsers have to evolve way beyond just simple history deletion. It's a constant cat-and-mouse game.
You're seeing different browsers take different approaches to this fight. Brave, for example, goes on the offense, blocking trackers and actively trying to randomize your fingerprint to make you look like everyone else.
Firefox is really good at blocking tracking cookies, and Safari has this thing called Intelligent Tracking Prevention, which tries to stop you from being followed across different websites.
And now there's an even more powerful weapon in this fight: Global Privacy Control, or GPC. This is a signal your browser can automatically send to every single website, and it's not a request, it's a legal notice. It basically says, hey, under laws like the one in California, you are legally forbidden from selling or sharing my data.
This is a huge deal. The old do not track signal was like politely asking, hey, could you please not track me? And most websites just ignored it. GPC is the complete opposite. It's like your browser walking in and legally demanding they respect your privacy rights. It's a total game changer.
So where is all this heading? Well, it's pushing us towards a future where privacy isn't some special feature you have to turn on. It's just the default setting for everyone, all the time.
I mean, look at the journey we've been on. In the past, zero privacy controls. Your history was just always there. Now, we have this manual amnesia button. But the future, it's looking like automatic, privacy by default, where your browser is your own personal bodyguard, blocking trackers and managing consent for you without you ever having to lift a finger.
Okay, so before we wrap up, let's just boil it all down. What do you really need to remember? First, Incognito is for local privacy, perfect when you're on a shared computer. Second, it does not make you anonymous online. Third, people can still see you, your internet provider, your boss, and the sites you visit. And finally, the good news is that the real privacy features you want are now being built right into your regular browser.
Which leaves us with this one last, kind of crazy thought to chew on. As privacy just becomes the standard, the default setting for everything we do online, what happens to Incognito Mode? Will this simple, completely misunderstood, but pretty revolutionary feature even have a reason to exist anymore? Or will it just become a funny little icon from a time when we actually had to ask for our privacy? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.
Don't forget to like and subscribe for more How Meets History.